agree, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's give them a big hand. I want to give you guys a big hand too. I mean, you guys are the sort of cream of what happened in Delhi, right? I mean, there was lots of people and now there are lesser people, so I guess you guys must be pretty smart. I'm pretty sure. So everybody's been talking. So right now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make this easy for me. You guys are going to do the talking, okay? This session is about using storytelling as a basis for conversations. So I want you all to think for a minute about what is it that you would really, really like to talk about. And I'm not talking about in your writing, like if you met a friend and if you had to share something that is really something that bothers you or something you want to share or something to say, what would you say? Think about it. I'll give you all a couple of minutes. It should be authentic, okay? It's not something borrowed from anywhere or anything. Look in your mind, introspect. If I met my best friend last night, I met my best friend, she was living at Sonar, and we had a really deep conversation because I had to ask her a really important question. Do you want to know what that is? Yes. I wanted to ask her, is Shah Rukh Khan living next door? And sadly he was not. That's not the conversation I'm talking about. Yes, you're already ready? That's amazing.
Yesterday night, I went to Sonar with my friend Riyan. He lives there only, so I went with him. And like all the cricketers were staying there, so we were waiting and seeing all of them pass by.
Lovely. So what is it? Okay, that's a good one. I'm going to write that down so I don't forget. And then we'll talk about this more. Okay, as you think of what you want to talk to a friend about, let me know. So, cricketers.
Maybe about school.
You know what? You'll have to correct my spellings. I'm hopeless without spell check. My life is ridiculous without computers. Yes. Hang on.
Yesterday, I called my best friend and I told her about my experience in MUSKAAN.
Very nice. Experiences at MUSKAAN. Okay.
What happened in school?
What happened in school? My God. That's like a mountain of things. No? So let's put that here.
Space for the
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Yesterday when I met all my friends
Yeah.
at the breakfast,
Yes.
I was chatting with Shreyan and Adiba and Anushka.
What did you talk about?
We were talking about, we were also seeing the magic show.
Uh-huh.
We were laughing together.
The magic show, okay?
And we were also remembering the moments we spent in Delhi.
Lovely. Lovely. Thank you.
Now,
Yes.
I'm actually talking to you about this.
Yes.
Yesterday what happened is I went to Victoria Memorial and now I met them there.
Wow, like a chance
And that was a
encounter.
very nice surprise.
Okay.
Coincidence.
Can I read something like
Okay. Yes.
Yesterday when I met all my friends, I asked them about their essays.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. Okay.
So yesterday night, I called up my best friend because we didn't really talk after Friday. So she was just asking me about how Kolkata is and if I'm enjoying. And I told her about the kids I was there yesterday.
So you talked about your Kolkata experiences.
Right.
Can I just go with Calcutta? I don't know yet how to spell Kolkata. Is there a double? Okay, Kolkata. That's easy enough. Okay, anybody else?
I talked to my mom yesterday. I told her that
She's not here?
No, she's somewhere else.
Okay.
I talked to her about how moments don't stick forever. Like yesterday when I was coming to Kolkata in the flight, all I could think about was how this moment would end. But
How?
this moment would end. And
End?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because
Because there are just some things you cannot experience another time. I'm not saying the flight, but some things.
Like you don't know if you meet again.
Yeah.
I certainly agree with what she said.
I also agree with you.
So, how this moment would end, as in what would take place?
Yeah, like one moment you're enjoying the flight and the next you're in the airport and that flight thing is over.
Yeah, that's a very, very interesting. Has anybody else experienced that kind of thing?
And when we were leaving from the MUSKAAN place, we were all feeling very bad to leave each other.
Yes.
And I think that happens like before every event.
Sorry, one second.
Like right now we're talking, we're conversing, but tomorrow at the same time we'll be thinking about what we were doing today.
Yeah, so the time has passed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, I was just like agreeing to what she said, like that usually happens before any event that takes place,
Yeah.
or before any get-together that's happening.
Yeah.
So I think we always tend to enjoy the moment for excitement before,
Yeah.
and then we tend to think about when that party or when that event is over, then how you think about the memories you made.
Yeah.
Jean wanted to say so.
Who?
Jean.
Go ahead.
So ma'am, basically I'm standing up for elections in my school and right now I'm at crossroads. Should I choose to bribe people for votes or should I actually be a correct candidate, do something?
Right.
So, do you want to be populist or must you stand up for the causes you believe in?
See ma'am, all my competition is actually bribing the voters. So I'm
And
wondering,
you know
should
that?
I do the same?
You have a pot boiler here, you know that, right?
Yes, everyone knows that.
Okay, bribing how? In school? What do they
Like-
you bribe with?
One chocolate, one vote.
But chocolates work?
Yes,
as simple
ma'am.
as that?
Some people take 4, 5, but eventually it works.
Okay, that's lovely. Anybody else? Things you think about?
I called up my great grandmother and grandfather because they have lived in Calcutta for a few years, and they came about 40 years ago. So I was telling them how it has changed and all.
Amazing. So Kolkata's changes over time.
Are
Okay.
you like the old Calcutta and the new Calcutta?
Yeah. Yes.
Ma'am, like does having an internal debate with yourself count?
Anything. Why were you having an internal debate?
Ma'am, it's just about random things.
I love random things. Say more.
Ma'am, for example, should I go and play PE even though I have a cold or not?
But do you want to play PE?
Yes.
Then you should.
But ma'am, there's consequences like ma'am will tell my parents.
Okay. Wow. You have some serious internal debates.
Ma'am, you have to write
Internal debate happens with me when I'm thinking to eat chocolate ice cream or vanilla.
Correct. You know, everybody when they look at me and sometimes I'm really looking very thoughtful and they're thinking, wow, she's thinking like some amazing story, and I'm thinking, how do I make a meal that makes everybody in my family happy? As simple as that. So, yes.
So yesterday when I was having an internal debate, my parents asked me, should we go to half day parade or should we go to the pool? So
Oh my God, that is a really difficult thing. What did you choose?
nothing.
Nothing.
It's better why you nothing because there's none of them is choices.
But sometimes some
Why are they not both choices?
because we do not have time.
So what did you do eventually?
Like in the morning today we went to the pool, half day parade we will go in the evening today.
That got resolved then. That's simple. I had yes.
But I feel the biggest question that we all face is what to eat for dinner.
I think nobody can answer that. Personally, nobody can answer
Our
that.
parents tell us what to eat.
But I don't really have options. I have everything, I don't need options.
Okay, that's the number one question. I think that seems to be universal here.
Yes.
But okay, we have two others in the back who have not shared. You two. Yeah.
Well, long back, my best friend and I had an argument whether Wuthering Heights is a good book to read.
Wow.
But obviously, in my decision and my reading list, Wuthering Heights is at the top.
Is it?
Yes, I love classics.
Uh-huh.
Like Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah. asked
My
him?
friend was like, she's more into science fiction.
Okay.
So, but yet we were having an argument and she told no, maybe Emily Bronte would have written more about why is there a tragedy in the end and why couldn't the two like reunite. But still we had this argument.
It was inevitable, no?
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, so you were arguing about a book. Okay. How about you? Yeah, you already said, but you have another one? Sure.
Yeah. And I think the biggest debate is waffles and pancakes.
Okay. We having, you know what? Kathy, you have turned these children into food monsters.
Ma'am, maybe even what to wear today.
Okay.
Yesterday there was a big problem. Our bags got left at the airport.
Oh yes, I heard that.
They actually did not remove it. They did not offload. They had to reach Itanagar and Mama told them to they offload it there. But keep them in the style and get them back. But they offloaded all of it there.
Oh my.
And the last of the light was.
So what, you guys went shopping or what?
No, these are my new clothes.
Look good. I'm so glad your
I'm also
the
very
bags got. How lucky actually, no? Okay. Do you have something to say?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I was not thinking anything before this, but I'm stunned by the fact that there was something that has come to me while Devisha and Saina they were speaking about that how means we are this time in this moment and we don't know that we experience this kind of moment ever again in life. And I'm just stunned by this fact, and I feel like deep down every one of us is feeling the same right now. There's this fear that we'll never ever get again to just experience all these blissful moments. And this is not only about the literature festivals we attend, but it's about every other event in our lives. Like literally, every time you walk with your parents, you realize that you are very much lucky to be walking with them. And then you look at those people who are deprived of this blessing. So then you look at them and you see that will I ever again have something else like more than this? And there are much more things. But then what again came to my mind is that life has always something better for you. Like we saw that MUSKAAN Literature Festival when it was the last day of that very festival, every one of us was extremely sad. We missed all our friends, all our associates and all the amazing team members from the foundation itself and all our teachers. Yes, ma'am, we miss you all the teachers.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
All the teachers who taught us, but then again we were so much sad and we were like kind of convinced that we won't ever experience it again. But now here we are after 3 months experiencing something better. So I feel like we should be in the moment and try to just cherish all these memories and accept the flow of life. I feel like the secret to a happy life is accepting its flow. You need to act, we need to like think about these things that will we be again ever like that. But the point is that accept the things. If we are here in this moment, we have 4 hours together, 3 hours together, let's enjoy it at the best and then after let's believe in the future that it has something good to hold for all of us here.
That's very hopeful
You should
and lovely.
You should accept the way life gives you something.
Yeah. That's actually a really amazing things that I'm learning from you.
Yes, ma'am. So 10 years back, my best friend left India. She went to New York, and a day before coming here to Kolkata, so I talked to her, and she was like, "That I'm missing you." Then I said that why you left. So and she just gave me a, you can say, a bad news that for 2 more years she will not be here. So
Your friendship survived long distance for 4 years?
Yes, ma'am.
That's amazing.
Yes, ma'am. So we talked about the avenues that she's experiencing there.
Okay, lovely. Have I missed anybody here? Has everybody shared a story?
Not Rama. Not Rama is.
I said interview.
His internal dilemma?
I think Neil has not shared a proper story.
Everyone's telling.
His election story, right? Yeah.
That's-
Okay. Now the what I wanted to know was, of all the stories that were shared here, of course the food story resonated. I could see that. But I think all of us here understood the transience of things that makes us cling on to a moment, starting from what you said, right? So it was very simple. It was a story. She said she was flying on a plane and she kept thinking, that, wow, this is going to happen and soon this moment is going to be over and that's it. And that's the first thing she thought to share with her parents. And when she shared it, so many of you resonated with that, right? So that's what stories do, So when you write a story, you write something that is true to yourself. Look inside of you and say, if I say something, it's a real dilemma, waffles or pancakes.
But I had both.
You had both, or Howrah Bridge or the pool. What is the underlying emotion in that? Confusion. What else? Dilemma, yes.
I wasn't confused actually.
Sorry?
She had both confused.
Okay, so what is another thing for something that you
The first time I was confused, what should I take, because we barely had time.
Yeah.
We reached here 5 minutes late
Yeah.
actually first. So first I was in this problem like what should I eat, and I said let's have both.
Okay.
So I had both.
But underneath that, what is it that you're doing? Yes.
Decision making.
Choice, right? Life is throwing choices to us all the time.
And sometimes they are
Yeah.
very difficult choices.
Yes, and what is your difficult choice?
I already told you, waffles or pancakes.
That's right. So sometimes, supposing I talk to you and say, yeah, I could not figure out whether to have this or this for breakfast.
Yeah.
Why should I care? So, or you could say, I wanted to go here or there or everywhere or there. But when a story sometimes takes the emotion underneath a very basic conversation, it becomes a shared emotion. The same choice could be, should I follow my heart and become a writer, or do what my mom says and be a doctor? It's all about choices, right? So yes,
Mom will always follow her.
is that an easy thing to do?
No, but
Mom, she
Yes.
always trusts that gut.
Why should you trust your gut?
Not because it gives not because I think it's always right, ma'am. Ma'am, like there was one story that I saw, I don't remember where or when. So it was this man, he wanted to go in a taxi. So he did not really Uber anything, he just called like we call rickshaw and everything. So when he was going there, he had that gut feeling that I should run away from there. So he ran away from that car. Then at home, somehow he was at his home watching the television and so he saw one episode on some person who was called the killer clown and he had been arrested. So that killer clown person was giving an interview. So he said that I was driving a taxi when the man jumped out of the taxi. He was supposed to be my first victim.
Wow. That's a good gut feeling, but that's a very important gut feeling. But what about, about choices that you make in life? Sometimes you say, okay, follow your heart, but it also has to be practical, right? It has to be. But even if it's an imaginary story, it's talking about a lot of things. It's talking about following your intuition. It's talking about, apart from the horror. That's what stories do. There's the story on top and there's the underlying emotion, and all emotions are things that you can resonate with. Why can we sometimes, relate to Pride and Prejudice? It's in 15th century England, 18th century, 19th century England. Why do I relate to it? Because it's talking about pride, it's talking about putting a persona. All of us face that, no? Somebody being arrogant, or somebody being, having misunderstandings. That's exactly what stories do. And then sometimes stories are used to examine deeper conversations about the world around us. For example, is anybody bothered or excited by ChatGPT?
What is that?
AI or, yeah, you are? What does it interest you, or do you get scared by it, or okay, for the kids who don't understand?
If it's AI, then Karna would definitely be interested.
Okay, so basically, I guess this ChatGPT is kind of a software that You can feed in your, some things and it will do the writing for you. Yeah, which apparently is written by you, but it's really not. And AI drawings are doing, illustrations for the people.
Like that.
You don't like that.
AI because, like, I found this out. Whenever you're doing something, you agree to, and then you have this confirm you're a human. So you have to choose the images. So you're actually helping an AI.
Really?
You're helping it figure out that
machine learning, basically.
Yeah. And what I say, basically you feed images to an AI, and then it takes the same thing and just transforms a bit.
Yeah.
That's what basically AI drawings and all that is doing. But I don't like that because like real artists, they are making that thing, they're using their imagination, and the AI is just basically taking that.
And they're using efforts to do it.
It's copying.
Yeah.
So I don't like
And anything you were saying?
I
Yes.
don't think anyone has a choice whether you like it or not, because AI is the future.
And is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, it depends on the way you look at it, because AI does help us in many ways. I mean, the Siri you use every day, that is AI.
Yeah.
I despise ChatGPT because I feel that even if you feed it your ideas and it gives you an essay or paragraph, you do not need to input your thoughts or the imagery you want to pursue in that essay or whatever it is.
Absolutely. So, I know of a lot of young people who worry that their future will mean that they don't have any function anymore because AI or ChatGPT could take over your jobs or your things like that. Yeah, so there is, if you see that technology and its effects on society, that's a lot of things to write about here. And when you're talking about, supposing I tell you a story about, it's set in the future and there's this person who lives, in a wasteland, which is all of our e-waste basically. In another side of the place there is a city that is thriving and all kinds of things happening, and then you go lower and lower and you see that on this hand human beings have been trying to do things and all we've done is mountains of e-waste. On the other hand, what has happened is the AI has taken over human functions and this side of the city is thriving. Okay, now this is my story. Is this something, what does this story mean to you all? Would you all have any thoughts on it?
We should get rid of AI.
No, it's there to stay.
We should get rid of AI because sometimes they'll just take over the whole world.
They'll take over but the world is running really well.
Ma'am, as long as they don't have like real emotions, then.
Well, if the idea of AI is that it can eventually
As long
mimic
as they
humans.
don't have a brain, that's fine.
But they have a brain. May not have a heart, but
Then destroy it.
yeah. Yes, but
Personally, this topic can be very, very controversial because it has its own pros and cons.
Yeah.
But I think if you look at it from the optimistic side of it, then I think AI, as Diksha said, is the future. I mean, you don't really have an option because it is what it is. And I think certainly one has to accept that fact. Because apart from AI, if AI weren't to be there, then I think a lot of our tasks that we do on daily basis, even the Siri, the Alexa that we use, I think that would have been impossible. And I think it's like daily used by almost everyone, not almost everyone. Right. So I think AI has its own advantages. Although of course there are certain points, as we mentioned, that real artists or
no. So I want you to comment on my story.
Excuse me, ma'am.
I think.
Can she finish first?
I
have your
AI has a very optimistic side, and it's like really, really beneficial for the future.
Okay.
And
Sarah, I want you to say something now after this.
I think that if anyone does something wrong, like copying, like if they copy any articles, or they copy drawings, or they copy anything which will work, which has some benefit for them, or for anyone, we should put them in jail.
So there's a moral issue here, you're saying. So you're saying that in this beautiful part of the city, there are human beings that are getting AI to do their work for them, and that's like really bad, right? Is that what you're saying?
AI is copying.
Yeah.
Copies.
Yeah, I'm asking you to look at it in the context of the story that I just narrated.
Ma'am, AI should be used to do.
Wait.
Ma'am, earlier people thought transistors would be the future. Now they're thinking AI is the future. So, ma'am, like something else can be the future.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, that is too good. I mean, human beings have endured no matter what. So that is one
Ma'am,
obvious.
nobody knows what's going to be the future. Even if AI is going to be, but if we know how to control it in the right way, it might be good. But
Or ma'am, AI will just deteriorate by
but
itself.
nobody really knows who is going to be.
So there's no way to predict what the future is going to be. Why?
What we like, we'll do it. And if there are some apps which show a lot of restrictions, so we start we just stop using that app. So it's same with the AI. When AI will interfere in our life so much, then we are getting to see it. So I think that
Then we'll get rid of
definitely
it.
stop.
Okay.
Humans have the power to get rid of AI.
I have something to.
Yes. Okay. After Tiana? Tiana.
She's telling like
Yeah, please go ahead.
humans could just disable AI or something. But at that point, there was
You better have children and not something.
children. So those children will be so used and dependent on using AI that they won't be able to do the things without AI.
Like I can't remember phone numbers.
Can't
They will be
remove
dependent
AI.
and lazy.
Yeah.
Yes, they can't just remove AI.
You can't remove it because you've become dependent. I'm coming back to you in a minute. Yeah.
It's basically connected to the social strata of our society because AI, when available to the people who are in the higher class, they'll use it for their own good, and the people who are in the lower class won't really get the privilege to use AI. So it's basically
That is
connected to
a
the social
really
strata.
interesting concept. Think about it. You know, now we have a lot of online payment sources are not available to them.
They're the sufferers.
Yeah. I will give you one link. Now and then I'll come to you.
Ma'am, my father's friend, he was there, and I'm not really sure if they were talking about some camera or something. And then in his phone, on Google, the camera's information and everything just popped up, which means that maybe they can listen to us.
Of course they do. You talk 5 minutes.
Let's look at us and learn. So, ma'am, if they see that
Is that a real thing, a cobalt?
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, they learn from us.
Machine learning.
So,
Yes.
ma'am, maybe if your teacher is absent, ma'am, maybe you are absent. So, ma'am, there would be a cohort in your place.
You know that you have a fantastic story idea there. You know, with the teacher being absent for the cohort and just doing its own thing. You write it down right now, that idea. You need to write a story.
And if anyone, and ma'am, also,
Yeah.
ma'am, Stephen Hawking has predicted that, ma'am, the people who fiddle with the human DNA, ma'am, those people who have been fiddled in the DNA, ma'am, they and the AI will destroy the world. Ma'am, Stephen Hawking has predicted this.
That is one extreme. Of course, a lot of people think that, you know, we have many clones and things like that. So
Ma'am, but ma'am,
But
I'm
that is the
actually
future.
scared, ma'am, because Stephen Hawking has predicted
Yeah.
it, ma'am, the scientist.
I also saw a video where a robot was.
You want to-
Teachers will not be robots, will teach.
yes, that's what I'm saying. It could well happen. Or if you're doing sometimes online things, right? I mean, do you all do Khan's whatever for science?
Khan Academy.
Khan Academy. So it's that person has recorded himself and you can just download it. So that's a start eventually. I mean, they could be anything, right? So one second.
It's a game.
Okay, huh?
Basically, you just have this person in your mind and you like
Yes.
wonder about who
Yeah,
the
yeah.
person is, and Akinator provides you with an interface with all the options that is this person a very famous person or is this person alive, and surprisingly at the end you get the person you thought in your mind to be in your
That is scary
That is-
stuff, man.
Yes, and they actually connect it with the internet database and send you recommendations based on that what you like thought of, or whether they have able to like guess the correct person you were thinking.
Ma'am, sometimes using that they're able to guess your password.
No way.
Yes, they are.
Yes.
No way.
That's cheating. They should.
Plants and all, scientists have put a biochip or something like that in a bird's brain. So not in the brain, sorry, in a bird's egg's brain, like
Oh my god, at the incubation stage.
Yeah, and that bird basically they can control it using a remote.
Wow.
So like they can
That's
just fly
amazing.
it.
So you know what?
So
The
ma'am,
point
if
I'm
AI
trying to
hacks
make-
into such technology, then ma'am, it can lead to very bad
Interesting consequences. How do you know they'll be bad? Okay.
Oh yeah, and I think moreover, apart from the okay, so if we talk about the human war between humans and technology and AI, so I think as Anushka said that humans have already defeated AI by creating AI.
Yeah.
But I think if we're talking about I think moreover it's being used and advanced in in the youth education system too.
Yeah.
I think most of us in our schools we have an option to take the subject as artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And I think
You do now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and in 9th and 10th it's a compulsion to study
Coding.
Yeah, coding and AI. So I think if there's a certain reason behind the schools also providing the youth to take up this field, because it certainly has some advancements for us in the future, and that automatically shows the progression of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing I came up with this story was that what was the thing is I created a scenario for you. I said there's this one person with a wasteland and one person with a clean city that is run, and that became the basis of so much thought and conversation. Yeah, you had him saying like something very interesting, funny but really interesting, that what if everything was robotic and the robot took the day off? The world's going to come to an end. Are the consequences going to be drastic? How is it? Aren't we as humans? See, that's what I'm saying. The power of the story, the conversation becomes deeper and deeper. What do you think that humanity has been doing since we were cave people? We were always thinking of ways to make our lives easier. Right? So eventually that's what it boils down to. And once you talk about that, I want you to shift your focus to the left side of my screen, which is that one sole person living in e-waste. The more we kind of do human development, sometimes we forget that we are one species on the planet. And we become divorced from the world around us, basically, Yes.
Ma'am, what was I saying? You can
Think? No hurry. Yes.
Ma'am, I wanted to say that ma'am.
अब हाथ ऊपर ही रख दो.
So I mean, one of the ma'am, there's a series that Stephen Hawking and his daughter have written. So ma'am, I was reading one of that part, and ma'am, in that it was mentioned by the main character that ma'am, there is only one code that cannot be hacked, and that is the friendship.
Oh.
So ma'am, that will always stay
You're
there.
so right. So that's another beautiful conversation about the resilience of humanity, about our universal emotions, friendship, relationships, everything. Yes, and that's very hopeful. Yeah.
Ma'am, as now we are building up technology in our lives,
Yeah.
and it will help for the future, and it can destroy the future also. So why couldn't we why couldn't we produce technology and artificial intelligence in the 90s or the 80s?
We didn't have resources. We did, yeah.
It's been happening,
People couldn't think of that. We became people right now. But ma'am, you as the human race developed, ma'am, we got to know.
I suppose what he's saying is amazing, because at every stage you could be at a turning point in history, which is like the cave people.
Yeah. I mean, even with the invention of the basic wheel.
That's right.
So
It's like a going back.
It's always trying to progress and have much and
That's
better
right.
resources.
Right. So it is. She decides. She goes one day. She lives in the Maldives because her husband has a job there. But like many of our mums and dads, they're just involved in their day-to-day lives. She lived in the Maldives. She hadn't even gone to the beach because she was busy filling the bars and she was busy doing all these kind of things. So basically, one day she decided to learn French, and she went and they showed her a movie about this Sylvia Earle. She's like this amazing environmentalist who's like this ocean conservator. And then when I was talking to her, she said, "Me, Lubaina, when I saw that lady, she came out of the water. She was wearing a diving suit, and I thought I want to be like her." And that moment was so beautiful, because here is Uma, who's like this really sweet, sari-clad middle-aged housewife whose life is her home and family, who has this incredible dream that she's going to be a diver, you know. And I just felt like, wow, I hope she can accomplish that, you know. And she did actually. It was about that. And then she went into the water. Eventually, that's another whole story. But she did learn diving, and she went and she herself wore the diving suit, so she felt like Sylvia Earle. And now she's becoming a passionate coral conservationist. So when I wrote the book, what I wanted to do was, yes, I wanted to talk about women and their dreams. No matter what age you are, why should you not have a dream? Why should everybody not support you and let it work for you? You know, her family was really supportive, and that's very...
Wait for my newsletter, social media, everything then.
Smile, Shreya.